It's Tuesday, July 29th. Here's what we're working on this morning. Prime Minister Mark Carney says trade and security talks with the U.S. have reached an intense phase.
A man and woman have been arrested after a targeted shooting near Hamilton's Center Mall last week.
And the Toronto Blue Jays lose to the Baltimore Orioles. Thanks so much for joining us as we get to the end of July, and things are still really heating up.
Yeah, it's not going to cool off yet. It'll cool off a little bit tomorrow,
Okay.
Only a little bit, but that should drop the heat warning. Yeah, the heat warning continues. You know, we almost broke a record yesterday. It was close. We got to 32.0 officially yesterday. The old record for yesterday was 32.8. back in 1964. So we were close, but no cookie on that one. So today what we're looking at is another hot one, maybe a degree cooler, 31. It's going to be a sunny day. Humidex in the low 40s around the horseshoe for today. So yeah, another oppressively hot day. Be prepared for that and be careful if you're outside. Tomorrow will be degree cooler, we'll take it. But the rest of the week looks beautiful as we continue into August later on this week. So we'll talk about that in detail coming up. Right now we're sitting at 19 degrees. Sky is fairly clear. Traffic this morning, as usual, this time of the morning, there's nothing to talk about. Looks good there at the 403 and Waterdown Road. That's our exclusive camera. Just a couple of other MTO traffic cameras. That's Ministry of Transportation Ontario cameras. As you can see here, Grays Road, Stony Creek looks good. Top of the Skyway, really light volume there. Nothing at Burl Oak, doing fine. So we'll look at weather and we will look at traffic as usual, and we'll do it in detail coming up. But right now, the news.
Thanks very much, Brian. Well, Hamilton police have identified the man shot and killed in Dundas late Sunday afternoon. Police say 25-year-old Zachary Schumann of Dundas died in a parking lot beside a condo building on Governors Road. Schumann's truck was parked in a nearby lot. Witnesses describe seeing a blue Ford Edge leaving the scene of the shooting. Police say Schumann and the driver of that vehicle had a brief interaction in a nearby Metro parking lot. It is not clear if the two knew each other or why Schumann was killed. Police are also looking for a female witness they'd like to speak with. She has shoulder-length brown hair and was wearing either red or orange shorts.
2 people have been arrested after a shooting near Hamilton's Center Mall. Those shots were fired last Tuesday morning just before 2 a.m. at a bus shelter near Barton and Ottawa Streets. Hamilton police believe it was a targeted shooting. Surveillance video obtained by CHCH News shows someone taking cover at a nearby store. 2 people were also seen inside an SUV in a parking lot. Police say a 42-year-old man and a 31-year-old woman, both from Hamilton, face multiple charges. The man was allegedly found in possession of a loaded handgun and a large amount of methamphetamine and cocaine.
At least 4 people are dead and 1 is in critical condition after a shooting at a New York City office building. It happened yesterday afternoon inside a building that houses financial companies and the NFL headquarters. Police say the gunman, a 27-year-old man from Las Vegas, armed with an assault rifle, died of suicide. A source says the gunman had a note in his pocket claiming that football gave him the brain disease known as CTE.
According to our law enforcement partners in Las Vegas, Mr. Tamora has a documented mental health history. His motives are still under investigation, and we are working to understand why he targeted this particular location. But today, 4 innocent victims are dead. Among them is NYPD police officer Didarul Islam, 36 years old, 4 years on the job. Officer Islam was married with 2 young boys, and his wife is pregnant with their 3rd child.
Police say the gunman is believed to have acted alone and say there is no longer a threat to the public.
Canada is just days away from U.S. President Donald Trump's newest trade deadline, and a 35% tariff on Canadian goods is on the line. Tessa Bennett joins us from LaSalle Park in Burlington with the latest on negotiations. Tessa, good morning.
Good morning, Rick. Prime Minister Mark Carney says trade talks are in an intense phase right now, with that August 1st deadline looming. Speaking in PEI yesterday, Carney acknowledged the uncertainty facing Canada's industries, while reiterating his promise to hold off on signing anything until it's deemed the right deal.
Industry, businesses, Canadians, they are anxious and they are concerned. They don't deserve the uncertainty that's been thrust upon them. They don't like it. They like resolution, but they'd also like they want the right kind of resolution. They want a deal that makes sense for Canada, that makes sense for Canadian business, for Canadian workers. And the negotiations are at an intense phase. It's a complex negotiation.
Meanwhile, Ontario Premier Doug Ford continues to call on the federal government to match U.S. President Trump's tariff rate, saying he can't be trusted.
Well, I'm never confident with President Trump. I'm confident with Prime Minister Carney. I know he's going to do his very best to get a deal, but I don't trust President Trump. He'll say one thing one day and say something else and then in the news the next day. We want a fair and free trade. But if he wants to attack our steel industry, our aluminum industry, other industries, we need to hit him back. We are an economic powerhouse in Ontario, economic powerhouse in Canada.
Canada's deadline for a new deal with the U.S. comes a few days after Trump says he struck a deal with the EU. The deal includes an added investment of $600 billion of EU money into the U.S., though some senior officials there have already started to walk that back. Now, if a new deal isn't reached by the end of this week, Canada faces a 35% tariff on Canadian goods that are not currently covered by the North American Free Trade Agreement. I'll send it back inside to you, Annette.
Okay, thanks very much, Tessa. Well, there are so many candidates running in next month's by-election, including Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, that Elections Canada is going to use something called an adapted ballot. The agency has released a video on social media showing how it will work. So instead of marking their choice in a circle, voters will write the name of the candidate on the ballot, a list of all the candidates, and at this point there are 210 of them, will be supplied behind the voter screen. Simply writing in the political party and not a candidate's name will disqualify the ballot. Poilievre is running in the Alberta riding of Battle River Crowfoot after losing his Ottawa area seat. That by-election is coming up August 18th. Ontario Premier Doug Ford is walking back a promise to issue work permits to asylum seekers.
We're there to support them. We're there to help them. But these people have to get off the system because it's costing the taxpayers too much money. We need them getting out there and we need them working. Now, if they don't get through their screening process, they need to go back and go through the process of immigration. But we can't sustain this hit. People are coming here at this pace, and are they real asylum seekers or not? These are the answers we need from the federal government.
Ford agreed with his fellow premiers when asking for more control over immigration at their Premiers' Summit last week. Now, Ford does say he doesn't want to take over work done by the federal government. Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada says it's working with the provinces and territories to plan out immigration levels for the years to come. Climate activists are calling on the City of Hamilton to make HSR bus fares optional during heat events as a way to keep people cool. During heat events, people can cool off in places like libraries, rec centers, and pools free of charge. But there are concerns about how vulnerable people get to and from those places. They say this proposal differs from the city's heat strategy last year that saw over 1,500 HSR bus tickets given out to high-risk people.
They might not have reached everybody who would need them. People don't know in advance that they will need it. They think, oh, I have air conditioning, but then there's a power failure, and they are stuck at home and have a problem.
Paramedics say there have been 144 heat-related calls since the start of 2025, compared to 122 in total last year. Hamilton City staff are set to report back on the proposal if it's feasible.
Sportsline make it back-to-back losses for the Blue Jays.
High drive left center. Long run Lucas. Jumps in. It's beyond his reach and gone. A home run for Cowser. And it's 11-4.
Colton Cowser, Ramon Laureano, Cedric Mullins, and Kobe Mayo all hit home runs as the last-place Orioles took down Toronto 11-4 in the opening game of their four-game series in Baltimore. On a night in which the temperature spiked to 38 degrees, Bo Bichette set a franchise record by getting a hit in 9 consecutive at-bats before he grounded into a game-ending double play. The game took a scary turn in the 9th inning when George Springer was hit in the helmet by a 96-mile-per-hour fastball thrown by Cade Stroud. He was helped off the field and will be reevaluated today. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Nathan Lucas homered for Toronto, who have given up 21 runs in their last 2 outings. The Jays and O's will play a doubleheader today. Hall of Fame second baseman Ryne Sandberg has died at the age of 65. One of baseball's best all-around players. He hit .285 with 282 home runs, 1,061 RBI in 15 seasons with the Chicago Cubs. Sandberg was a 10-time All-Star. He won 9 Gold Gloves for his defensive excellence and was the National League MVP in 1984. He announced in January 2024 that he had been diagnosed with prostate cancer, had chemo and radiation treatments, and was cancer-free in August of 2024. But last December, his cancer had returned and spread to other organs. Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred and Philly star Bryce Harper had a spirited exchange during a Q&A session between the commissioner and the team. Speaking before Philly's 6-2 loss against the White Sox, Harper did not dispute the published descriptions of his confrontation with Manfred. Manfred spoke with the team about the media landscape and working together to grow the sport. And at some point, Harper told Manfred if he was there to talk about a salary cap, he could, quote, get the bleep out of the clubhouse. Baseball's collective bargaining agreement expires December 1st, 2026. And some players are concerned about a possible management push for a cap which could lead to a lockout. University of Colorado football head coach Deion Sanders revealed yesterday that he battled bladder cancer, but the 57-year-old says he is now cancer-free.
Wasn't easy. Men, everybody, get checked out. Because if it wasn't for me getting tested for something else, they wouldn't have stumbled up on this.
Doctors discovered the cancer during a routine scan of his vascular system. He didn't want a lengthy treatment, so Sanders decided to completely remove his bladder so he could stay on the sidelines with the team. The new bladder is made from small intestine, and it means relearning how to go to the bathroom and on a strict schedule. He's planning to oversee the school's football team this season for his 3rd year.
All right, check the date here. It's Tuesday, 29th of July already, 12 minutes after 6 o'clock. Let's get into traffic first of all, then we'll fill you in on what's going on with the forecast. Traffic this morning, right now, it's light. There's no problems. Construction, there's a lot of it this time of year. Coming to an end pretty much. Nothing here at the 403 and Waterdown Road area. Doing fine. To some MTO traffic cameras. We'll start in St. Catharines at the QEW Niagara Street. Nothing there. Same with Grays Road, Stony Creek, all the way through the 403 junction. So Toronto-bound lanes out of Hamilton away from us toward Brant Street. Looks good here east of Royal Windsor, and we'll flip ahead to Dixie Road through Mississauga. Nothing to see on traffic this morning. Temperature this morning, we are on the warm side already. Temperature has just bumped up to 20 degrees. The sun has just come up a few minutes ago. It is mainly sunny. The winds are light. The humidity is up there again. What we have is the heat warning continuing for the day today. It should come to an end overnight tonight, but yeah, another day of heat and high humidity values in the low 40s. The overnight low will be a little bit cooler tonight, but still staying warm. And the air quality risk for the day today, once again, in the moderate risk category. Frontal boundary is just wagging its way across the Great Lakes at the moment. Low pressure system is approaching. That could bring us some showers, thunderstorms overnight tonight in some areas, and then tomorrow we're looking to get back into some sunshine and a little bit cooler for tomorrow. Today 31 to 33 degrees depending on where you are. Humidex values in the low 40s, so another sticky one today. Be careful in that heat. Tonight temperature dips to 20 for a lot of areas, but in the teens, so that's a little bit better. Tonight skies will be clear, but for Halton, Peel, Toronto, and to the west there is a chance of a shower or a thunderstorm. And then tomorrow, yeah, here comes that shower thunderstorm scenario. We'll start off with the sunshine, so it'll be a nice start to the morning, but then we get that instability pushing in later in the day as well in a lot of areas. Temperatures a bit cooler, 28 to 29, but Otherwise, we're going to sit around 30 degrees once again for the day tomorrow. So out the door this morning, 29th of July, 20 degrees is our temperature right now. It is mainly sunny. And the long-range forecast, which looks great as we get toward August coming up. Annette, Rick.
Okay, thanks very much. Well, Emily is on assignment today, so we'll check in with her tomorrow, I guess. Yeah. Coming up in business news, the beer store is closing even more stores at the end of September. In overseas trading this morning, the Canadian dollar has dropped 10 basis points to 72.69 cents U.S. Gold is up more than $15 an ounce. Crude is up 41 cents to $67.12 a barrel. Midday trading in Europe, markets are up in London, up considerably more in Frankfurt, and also gains in Paris.
Over in Asia, markets were down in Tokyo and Hong Kong, but up in Shanghai. And in North American markets, the TSX lost 88 points at close yesterday. The Dow dropped 64, and the Nasdaq gained 70 points.
Well, the beer store is closing 11 more locations in just a few months. The closures come after the Ontario government expanded the sale of beer, wine, cider, and ready-to-drink cocktails to convenience stores and more grocery stores. Next month, 20 beer stores are set to close, with another 10 on September 10th. The latest 11 announced closures will happen September 28th, and they include locations in Brampton, Norwich, and Wingham.
Flight attendants at Air Canada are voting until August 5th on whether to give a strike mandate to their union. The union represents over 10,000 flight attendants who have been in contract talks for over 7 months. Air Canada says the vote is a normal part of the bargaining process and doesn't necessarily mean a strike will happen. A walkout can't take place until a 21-day cooling-off period ends after the 60-day conciliation period expires. In the meantime, talks are still underway.
DoorDash is asking Canada's Competition Tribunal to throw out a case accusing it of misleading its customers. The delivery service company says the Competition Commissioner mischaracterized its fee structure and made false and misleading claims. Last month, Commissioner Matthew Boswell claimed that DoorDash markets its online delivery service at a lower price than what customers actually end up paying, and that's because of several hidden fees, he said. DoorDash argues customers are not misled because it's impossible for them to navigate the company's marketplaces without being fully aware of what they'll pay.
Canada's largest trucking firm has reported a drop in second quarter profit as weak demand took a toll on the volume of goods it hauls. Montreal-based TFI International says it earned a net income of $98 million U.S., down from roughly $115 million a year earlier. Revenue was just over $2 billion U.S. versus nearly $2.3 billion in last year's second quarter. It says the decrease was mainly due to reduced volumes driven by weaker end market demand.
The Canadian National Exhibition. Yes, we're talking about that way already, so it's the end of summer soon. They are looking for a record number of job applicants. The fair says it's received more than 54,000 online applications so far. Over 1,000 seasonal positions have already been filled. But the CNE is still looking to hire about 5,000 workers for various roles. StatsCan says Ontario's unemployment rate was 7.8% in June. Youth unemployment, though, is just about 14% across the country. The X is coming up August 15th to September 1st.
Meantime, StatsCan is hiring for the 2026 census with jobs across the country. Some positions pay up to $131,000, and many don't require a degree. Jobs are open in places in Ontario, BC, Alberta, and Northwest Territories. Positions include clerks, supervisors, and managers. Deadlines vary, so check the government jobs website to apply.
We're going to take a quick break right now. Brian is going to be back with his job, giving you traffic and your 7-day forecast.
And And away we go into this Tuesday, 6:24. The time, checking our MTO traffic cameras. QEW at Ontario Street and St. Catharines looks good in both directions. Top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge is getting a little bit busier than last time we checked it. Of course, that's Toronto bound, always gets busier that way. QEW Burl Oak still looks good. Lauren Park slowing down a little bit as you head toward Mississauga Road and all that construction that continues. And the 403 west of Mavis, nothing going on through Mississauga on the 403. Temperatures warm already here this morning. 20 degrees for Hamilton, 21 Grimsby, 22 Mississauga, 24 into Toronto. That heat island effect, the concrete, the asphalt absorbs all that heat and it just hangs onto it, so it's a lot hotter there. As we continue through the day today, Tuesday the 29th of July, those are our sun times. So sun 6:06, it came up this morning. Those are our seasonal temperatures, 26 and 15 for an overnight low. We're way above that. And records for today, 33.0 back in 1988. We won't get quite there today. We were close to breaking the record yesterday, but didn't quite do it. So 31 today will feel like 40 as the heat warning continues. Lovely sunshine today, blue sky, very high UV index. Tonight down to 18. Some areas could get a shower thunderstorm overnight, like Halton into Peel. And then tomorrow, there's that chance of showers, thunderstorms for the rest of us, but still warm, 30, feeling like 35. The heat breaks as we get toward the end of the week. Look at the days lining up here. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Oh yeah, Civic Holiday Monday coming up. Lovely sunshine. Temperatures quite comfortable right there in the mid-20s. It's forecast. Annette, Rick.
Okay, let's go from sun right now to stars. Astronomers have made a discovery near one of the best known and brightest stars.
They think they found a never-before-seen companion star orbiting Betelgeuse. That's the famous red supergiant star in the shoulder of the Orion constellation. Now, scientists have long been fascinated by Betelgeuse because its brightness has been known to change over time. A team of astronomers used a telescope and an unusual imaging technique to get a glimpse of a possible companion star that's being called Beetle Buddy. It's suspected the smaller star could be influencing how bright, should I say it a third time, Betelgeuse appears. Researchers will have a new opportunity to confirm the companion's presence in November of 2027, when it will be easier to spot.
Interesting. Okay, and I noticed you did say it 3 times,
I did.
but not in a row.
I think we're safe.
I think we're okay.
We'll tell you if we're not.
Got lots more to come. Stay with us.
Oh, geez.